Hotel California, it's the Eagles on Q107, 10 now after 8. Bruce Kenyon with Barks and Young Stephen. We welcome to the studio now Scott Jones. Scott is a former professional Sasquatch hunter. Hi, Scott.
Semi-professional.
Semi-professional. I was going to say, what's the difference in amateur and professional here?
I think it depends on whether you're employed or not.
Did you get a lot of work as a Sasquatch hunter?
I got a lot of interesting stories.
Okay, but a lot of money, which might explain why you're not doing it anymore.
Not a lot of money, no. And there's not that many Sasquatch out here on the east of the Rockies.
No, that's true. Okay, right off the bat, have you ever seen one?
No.
What is as close as you've come?
Closest I've come was tracks.
How big?
They were about 18 inches long, and the left foot was crippled.
Crippled?
Which was interesting. Yes, it was turned in at the arch.
Yeah.
So it was twisted. And the second toe was much longer than the first, which to me sort of rules out a hoax because it shows a biological problem. You know, it's got like this.
Interesting.
Yeah, congenital defect.
Toe is longer than my big toe.
There you go, congenital defect.
Well, thank you very much. It's not, and I'm actually. Have you ever smelled one?
No.
Apparently, the smell is just disgusting.
It's very bad.
Got a tad of a hum on them, yeah.
It's true. That's what the actual original Coast Salish word meant. It meant stinky, hairy man of the woods.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
I'm not going to BC.
That's what Sasquatch means.
Hot, you know. How big do they get? Judging by the footprint, what would that make it, 8 feet?
Yeah, well, there's a range. Smallest one ever seen was just a little over 5 feet.
Yeah.
Iffy. Largest one ever seen was about 16 feet.
16 feet?
16 feet from toe to crown, my friend.
It's bigger than that Chinese guy we saw the picture of the other day.
That's 1.5 basketball hoops.
He was only 8 feet tall, so twice as big as him.
Yeah, they're big.
Think about that. Well, that's where we get the big foot.
Right.
So, how come we haven't found any bones?
Yeah,
this is what everybody says.
There are two schools of thought regarding that.
Yeah.
One, it's just a very sneaky animal, and when it gets sick, it takes off and it holes up in a cave somewhere and dies, and you never find them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find wolverine bones very much either, for almost the exact same reason. But the second school of thought is that it's all a mass hallucination. I'm actually coming around to that idea because we've been looking for them for what? Coming on 60 years now?
Yeah.
You know, since they first came into the Western public consciousness. So I'm thinking, yeah, they are imaginary, but they're just real enough to leave tracks. So it takes the whole Sasquatch hunt into bizarre new territory.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
If you find tracks, you got to think that the actual animal exists or it's some sort of hoax.
American hunters have opened up and emptied whole magazines into these things, and there's no blood or anything.
That's what they
take
claim?
off. That's what they claim.
Is that right? That they've shot them and hit them?
Shot them. They filmed them. There's about 3 films out there that are of dubious integrity, but a couple of them are pretty good.
Have you ever
still
been to the museum there in Washington?
Not the museum in Washington, but I have
Oregon,
been.
Isn't it?
There is a Sasquatch museum there. There's one in Harrison Hot Springs, too.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. I'm trying to keep a Canadian focus here. You guys were going on about the Florida skunk ape, so I thought,
yeah, but it's a related animal, isn't it? The Florida skunk ape.
Yeah, it's the whole North American ape
What
thing.
are you giggling about?
The relatives in Florida and up here, I don't know. And that picture of the skunk ape.
Cousins.
Well, that was just a drawing made by someone, and it looked like a scared Muppet more than anything.
The sketches are always awful.
Well, and I'm sure that they would be.
Yeah.
I would think they're related. That's not entirely, ridiculous.
I guess.
There's like small bears in Florida and large bears in Alaska.
There's no bears in Florida.
Oh, sure there are.
Skunk bears.
There's
the skunk bear.
Okay, I get enough from him. I don't need it from you. There's bears in Florida and in the Carolinas. Phone your Carolina relatives.
I will.
I'm reading a book right now where they're talking about bears in Carolina.
Oh, must be true then.
We're getting off the topic. We're talking about Bigfoot.
Right.
Okay, and you brought a tape.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I have.
Don't go away.
Okay.
Don't go away. You're going to hear a Bigfoot right here. Phone your relatives. Phone your friends. Dude looks like a lady. It's Aerosmith on Q107, 22 after 8. With us this morning is Scott Jones, former Sasquatch hunter. You told me you were in a museum in Victoria and saw what?
That's right. That would be the Royal British Columbia Museum downtown, right off the Inner Harbor. You know the one?
Yes.
Anyways, they have a huge archive room there, about twice the size of your studio, and it is full, floor to ceiling, with plaster casts of Sasquatch tracks.
Is that right?
Taken from all over Canada. And, little boxes of hair samples, little bags of dung samples.
Ew.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question, why have they not done a DNA test on one of the hair samples?
Well, they have.
And?
All they can come back with is that it's primate,
Yeah.
but of an unknown species, unknown type.
Yes.
So is the
that pretty much
scientific
leaves
community-
it.
Yeah, it leaves it
right
right where
there.
we thought. So there's
Exactly.
no proof.
Nope.
Now, could it be some type of monkey that lives up there that had escaped, right, and living in the wild? Not likely.
Not likely. We're looking at the size here. It might
right.
be. It might be. There used to be an animal much like this, but back in far prehistory, called
all right. And the hair?
Gigantopithecus was what it was called.
And the hair lasted this long?
No, the bones did. Hair's gone.
The hair is gone.
They still have bones of this giant prehistoric.
Is that
ape.
right?
Yes.
Kind of like the woolly mammoth elephant dealie, if you
Something
know what
like
I'm
it.
talking about.
Exactly like that.
But
Don't like to talk in
alive and
scientific
surviving.
terms. Well, as an elephant is, but it was related to the woolly mammoth, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
next question. Why don't they get those neat heat-censoring helicopters they have in movies and go cruising around in the mountains to see if they can pick up the heat sensor?
They have, but you have to consider the average budget of your average Sasquatch hunter.
Is $11 a
It's
month.
Pretty much. It's cost prohibitive.
Is there
Okay.
a lot of Sasquatch hunters? Like, were you in
There's-
good company?
I was a member of what I don't even know if the club is still up and functioning, but it was the official cryptozoology club of BC. It was called the BC Scientific Cryptozoology Club, and it was headed up by a marine researcher at UBC.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was off looking for sea serpents, so we didn't exactly mesh. But
Eat a lot of mushrooms in this club? I'm just kidding. They're from BC. You know.
oh, you've no idea.
Okay, you've got, we have a tape here. Where was this tape made?
This tape was made in 1976 in Puyallup, Washington, so the sound quality's down a little bit. Basically,
All right.
they put a housing development back into the Cascades, and then they started getting harassed by something.
And this is the sound that they heard. Barky,
Yeah.
you got it all ready to go there?
Yep. Sounds
Okay.
like a howler monkey on steroids.
Let's
Enjoy.
have a listen to this.
Yeah.
How long does this nonsense go on for?
Oh, about 30 minutes.
Okay, that's good
Yeah.
enough then. We got an example there. It sounds like it could be a howler monkey with a poorly recorded unit.
Possibly.
Well, I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
Of
here.
course, as you must.
Very interesting, as a lot of people I'm sure do.
That's a creepy sound. That's not a wolf or a coyote or anything. I've heard those.
When was the last time you heard a howler monkey?
The other day.
Thank you. Very interesting. Mm-hmm. We appreciate you coming by, Scott. If people, who's got the best website? Who do you think is the guy who knows more about Bigfoot than anybody?
You know what? It's pretty much 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If you go on the internet and search, you're going to get
Yeah.
flooded. So you know what I say? Look at the information, decide for yourself. It doesn't matter who's delivering it.
And don't forget to check out the mini Sasquatch, the skunk ape of Florida.
Yes.
Well known, in certain circles. Scott, thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
There we have our